I don't know why my computer's like acting weird right now.
They all seem to be acting weird right now.
Yeah, like
Something
everything
going on with them.
for sure. Like it's just like what?
Yesterday we had like 5 minutes of us frozen.
Yeah.
You could hear us, but we were like, I was looking down and Lindsay was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was, everybody's like, we can hear you. You're just frozen is all.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is funny, but, and then loading it up to YouTube, I had to giggle too because we weren't frozen and it kept going. Right? So.
That's how it works sometimes. Yeah, there's been gremlins the last couple days. So
Yeah.
Morning, Carmen. Well, it's morning for me.
See if it's showing on my paper.
Jessica's on there too. Hi, Jessica.
Show to the group.
Leslie's watching.
Sure.
How's where you from, everybody?
Alrighty. Show to my private group.
Yeah, Leduc is sunny but cold.
Sunny and warm here today, so we're good.
Oh, good.
To melt some more of that snow. I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We're just getting set up, guys.
All right. So I'm all shared.
Perfect.
You're all good? Awesome. Okay, everybody. Well, super excited today to have Brandon Brown with us. He's our coach, our mentor, our business associate, and let's just dive right in, Brandon. You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about if you tell us a little bit about your backstory?
Oh man, well we could be here all day. So we got to figure out. Let me see if I can give you the cliff notes because I have so many. I feel like I lived so many lives already. It's actually weird. But so back in 2010, we'll just start from there. I actually I was flat broke, like broker than broke. Like I was actually negative. That's how broke I was, and I had actually sold a television show to MTV, and I had like quit my job and all this stuff because we had an air date and everything. And we had our first production meeting, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna shelve the show." And yeah, and they have about 10 episodes, and they're like, "And we're not paying you. We're gonna just go back on the contract." So it was like really intense for me. So basically I had like gone through all that stuff, and I was just kind of tired of living in LA. I was kind of tired of Hollywood. And at the time I had met a young lady who lived in Canada, and we basically became, boyfriend and girlfriend. So I just packed up all my stuff and moved to Canada. And yeah, it was pretty intense. And I couldn't pay my rent that month. And it was just like a lot going on. And so long story short, I ended up coming to Canada. And I'm young. I don't know what's going on. I thought you could just move to a country, work, and, just live your normal life. I didn't know you needed a visa. You needed to do all this paperwork, all this kind of stuff. So long story short, I got here, and it was kind of like we got to this place where it was like, okay, I have to either leave or we have to figure something out here, right? So basically, we figured some things out, and we got to this point where we were like, okay, I was like, yeah, I've been kind of dibbling and dabbling in the internet thing, and I've done some network marketing stuff in the past. I was like, but if I can't work like in the, in the city or in the community or whatever, I'll lock myself in the basement for like 2 years and basically learn how to do internet marketing. And so that's essentially what I did. Was my wife now, she worked 2 jobs, and basically I stayed at home. We didn't have any kids or anything back then. And I just learned internet marketing, and pretty much it just kind of worked out.
So you're essentially self-taught then?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I spent so much money on courses, trainings, seminars. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So I know that when we had Lauren on here and she was talking about the Limitless, that Mark Hoverson was one of your mentors.
Yes.
Was that in that time frame?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark Hoverson, I would definitely say Mark Hoverson and Jonathan Budd, those two, like I started out with Jonathan, and then I kind of went over to Mark, and actually this guy named Brett, he actually introduced me to Mark at a conference. And yeah, ever since then, like I was like one of his top affiliates for pretty much like all of his stuff. And
good. Yeah. Cause to me, your mindset, like, and some of the stuff that you teach us is like right up there. Like, you know, you hear it from
it's
giants. So you're like definitely a giant in our eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a carbon copy of him. Like that was kind of
good. I mean,
yeah, that was like my pattern. Like I want to be him. Right?
Yeah. I've actually, I've talked to others that have like been mentored by Mark Hoverson, and they all kind of have that really, really great outlook and whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty cool how he's touched so many.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe.
So you're saying around 10 years, that's how long you've been kind of working at it. So how many different platforms do you have right now? Like how many different, like multiple streams of income?
Ooh.
Too many to count?
Too many to count.
Yeah.
I would say the main ones are like AMP, Check Marketing Pro, 9 to 5. I have a coaching and consulting business, like where I actually coach network marketers.
Yeah.
And I have another business. Sounds crazy.
Okay. So I'm just making the point that you are definitely, you're
too many.
Yeah, you do way more than just one thing. So that's the key too, is that you have to have multiple streams and whatnot. And obviously you've learned so much over the years that you're able to do all that stuff, which is so cool. So
well, the nice thing is teaching it too.
Sorry, Lindsay, go.
Yeah, no, but the nice thing is that you teach it too, right? You don't just keep all this information to yourself, you pass it on to others, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So how does your training different from other people, would you say?
So I always like to tell people, like, I came up in a very unique time of the evolution of social media and the internet. Like I was one of the early adopters of social media, you know, back with MySpace and
oh, MySpace.
yeah, like I was messaging on MySpace, right? Like, so I came up in a very unique time where a lot of the big players in our industry were just starting to come up, and you know, learning from guys like Mark Hoverson and Jonathan Budd, who don't really teach this stuff anymore. You can see the evolution of how like information has been watered down a lot. A lot of it's been watered down. It's been this person copying this person saying, you know, it's like kind of like this copy and paste thing. So it's not a lot of original stuff because the foundations and the principles of everything, people just stopped teaching it. And I think people kind of got to this place because they're like, well, people aren't going to do the work anyway. So like, why don't we just make it watered down and, you know, they'll take it. But coming from like the Mark Hoverson era, the Jonathan Budd era, the Mike Dillard era, like these are all people that a lot of the newer people don't even know about. You know, they don't know these people. And so these guys really laid the foundation for a lot of what we do today. And I have basically tried to reinstill those principles back into my trainings, so that people can actually get the psychology behind it and not just the actual tactics, like go on Facebook or go on Instagram, you know, like really give people like the deeper understanding of everything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know like the calls that we've been on, because we have masterminds and whatnot with you, that like we have, like Lindsay and I were before, like pretty much just Facebook ads. You just sent out this cold audience Facebook ads and hope for the best kind of thing. But with your training, you're teaching us that the relationship is what's important, and understanding what their pain issues are and what their problems are, and providing them a solution. So that definitely has totally changed things for me.
And the role playing.
Too.
And the role playing, like that to me is just
so different than It's been so great to kind of get that end of it. So so if I know a lot of people, and like for me, because I've been in the game for kind of 2 years now, the stigma of being like somebody who sells something, and I know that you feel that we should get past that and not be selling something, providing something, like providing value and a solution to people is more what you're saying. So can you get into that just a little bit, like what you mean by that?
Yeah, so Mark used to always talk about that too. He used to always say, like, if you have something that can change somebody's life, it is your fiduciary duty to sell it, right? It is your job to bring it to the marketplace. And it's almost like a selfish thing if like you have something that can change somebody's life, but you don't want to sell it, or you don't want to like look like you're doing business. I mean, listen, the reality is everything that we have and do was sold to us. Zoom was sold to us. Facebook marketing was sold to us. This shirt I have on, these glasses, like the groceries we buy, like everybody's selling something, right? And so my thing is that where I think what I think people really mean is that they sales has always had this like stigma around it, where it was like manipulative, taking advantage of people, just selling people any and everything to like make a quick buck or something like that. And I do see some of these characters around on the internet still, but for the most part, my belief system is that if you have something of value, you need to sell it. And unfortunately, I believe you need to sell it for high prices, because we procrastinate, right? We take things for granted. We don't really work at something unless we have something invested into it.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of my philosophy on it is business is selling. Business is the act of bringing a valuable good to a marketplace and trading it for currency. That's business. Business is not doing social media, right? So that's my take on it.
Perfect.
And so for people that aren't comfortable selling product in a salesy, spammy way, what do you offer them? Like, how do you dive into that?
So I believe that the evolution of how we sell has changed, right? And I think that people, because they might be so against it, they're not aware that there's a whole new way of selling, right? And there's a way of selling to where you don't have to sell, right? And also too, we've also redefined what it means to sell, right? Because prior to the internet, we couldn't target people who were already looking for us, right? It was like mass marketing. Like you go on, listen to the radio, and they have all those commercials, and it's just broadcast to everybody, right? And then people would be influenced by that, and then they might not need something, and then they feel like they were sold on it because hearing those commercials over and over again made them buy or whatever. And so I think we have to redefine selling. And my philosophy is you can use videos and presentations to do the selling for you. And really, you don't need to focus on selling. You need to focus on closing, because selling and closing are two different things, right? Selling is like presenting, warming the person up to the idea, educating them, giving them the right information, asking them, just really kind of showing everything that you have that could change their life. And then closing is a whole nother process of, showing them like what exactly this thing can do for them specifically. So I don't think that selling is even necessary anymore if you have the right systems put in place, like kind of how we do. Like we don't have to I remember back in the day, you have to explain everything to people, right? Nowadays, you can make one video, it explains everything. If that piques a person's interest, they'll, you know, you can book a call with them and then you can go through the closing process.
Yeah.
It cuts down your time, right?
Yeah. And like your theory of being the hunted and not the hunter.
Absolutely. And so in modern sales, we have to totally rethink our positioning, right? Instead of saying, okay, and this is where most of us go wrong in the beginning. We say, okay, I'm going to go find a product to sell, right? Then we go find this product and we go on social media and we start raving about it. Man, I love this product. It's done this for me. It's done that for me. It's such a good thing. It's helped me and my family. Me, right? Most people are me sellers. They're selling based on their experience, right? But modern sales tells us that we don't worry about the product first. We worry about finding a market that has a problem and understanding that problem at such a deep level that when people see us, they say, wow, this person understands my problem. Then once we understand the problem, then we go find the product, right? And then we take the product to the problem. So when you take the product to the problem, you don't need to sell because the person's already looking to solve the problem, right? So it's a whole new way of thinking about the sales process, which gives people relief, and you don't have to have that anxiety of like trying to figure out a way in or trying to do that. You do become hunted by people because they're already looking for a solution, and so that's kind of how I.
Yeah, that for me, that's like a huge mentality that I have to get to, instead of like being like not being desperate, like going, I have what you need.
Yeah.
You need to get a hold of me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I'm definitely working on that. I've learned so much in the last, you know, couple months with you. So, I mean, it's been so great.
It's a mind shift for sure.
It is. It truly is.
It's hard to transition to that way of thinking.
It definitely is. It is. It's taken me years to take off my perspective and my wants and my desires and my needs and literally put them on the side and then take a reframe from the customer's view and now put myself in their shoes and their emotions and their feelings and their desires and their wants and their dreams, their nightmares, their fantasies, and really understand that to a level to where I can tell their story to them better than they can. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you have to get. That's the art of selling and marketing now, right?
Yeah.
And then once they understand that, then I can go get whatever solution. Then I have to use my integrity, because I know at this point I can sell you anything, because I've already proved to you that I know you better than you know yourself. You're looking at me as an authority, not based on how much money I've made or what credentials or anything like that, strictly based on the fact that I know your life and your problem better than you do. And then you go and find the product. And
yeah, it's an art.
yeah.
It's definitely an art. I mean, you have to learn how to do that for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So would you say that like the most important skill is actually finding, like learning what like the people, like what their pain point is and what your solution to it is? It's more like finding that person before anything else, right?
Yeah. So I have another mentor. He sold over $100 million in information products online. And he said that the most important business skill in the 21st century is this concept called prospectiving. And prospectiving is basically where you are able to see through the eyes of your perfect buyer, mm-hmm. and feel their emotions. And literally your physiology and your state should change, because you can actually feel and understand what it's like to be in their current shoes. So real that when you're talking to them, there's an instant connection, because it's like that person says, wow, you really have taken the time out to understand me and to really get to know my desires. And so I want to buy from you or join your company or do whatever you're doing strictly based on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that on some of the training that you've given us, mm-hmm. you've tried to get us to listen, mm-hmm. and we miss, like, we miss so much that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like just scrambling our brains trying to think, what did I miss? What did I miss? And
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, you missed this. So
Yeah.
you've trained your brain to hear what people say. And
Well,
that's what we all need to do.
And not only that, you could go off to your computer, do something, and you can still hear.
Yeah.
Whereas if I look at my phone, I'm done. Like I've lost. Even if I take notes, I can't. Like,
I take notes and then I go, I'm totally out of the conversation now. Like,
yeah,
you know,
there's a whole nother side of the brain that we don't use.
Yeah.
And we know this because, like, if you guys ever drove a stick shift before, if you remember in the beginning, when you're learning how to drive stick shift, it's like you got to be super focused. Like, you can't look around, you can't have the radio on, you can't talk to nobody, the car's shaking, like you're trying to figure that thing out. And then after you do it so many times, oh, you're putting on lipstick, shifting gears, like talking to people, like doing stuff.
It becomes an automatic.
Yeah, it's like an automatic thing.
Yeah.
And that's how this process works too. Like once you do it enough, the most important thing is to hear what's not being said. A lot of humans communicate non-verbally. So what we do is we say things, but we don't say the intention by it. It's left up to the human who's trying to understand what you're saying to actually get the intention of what's actually being said. Like we do it all the time. Like, let's say you get in an argument with your spouse or something like that, and then you go to the grocery store and the person's like, hey, so how's your day going? And all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, no, it's great. It's awesome. You have to be able to read through that layer, say, okay, this person's going through something.
Is that why you always say get on a call?
Hey, well, yeah, that's part of the reason why you get on the call, because you don't really know the person's intention through Messenger.
Yeah, it's hard.
I can't pick up anything. Like when people are messaging me, because those nuances aren't there, and I can't hear what's actually going on until I actually talk to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we're all guilty of hearing. Like we all hear everything, but we don't listen.
Yeah.
We don't get right down and listen to what people are saying, and that's.
But it's even deeper that I find with a lot of the students that I work with is we hear what we want to hear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hear people, like a lot of times when we're doing the training, I'm like, okay, so what does this person just say? And they're like, oh, well, they said they didn't have money because it's too expensive. And the person never said that. You heard the person say they don't have money, and then you put the too expensive on there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole nother way of like just listening and hearing things.
Everybody assumes everything, right? And it's a terrible habit to be into, is assuming anything. So yeah. That's great. Yeah. So do you feel like right now is a really good time to get into business, like with everything that's going on? And like, to me, I think people that are going through everything that's going on in the world right now is the time to start, controlling your future right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Are you?
Yeah, I do. I think it's the best time in the history of.
I think so too.
World, to be honest with you. The problem that we're going to run into is that people don't have patience.
Yeah.
Because again, they want it now. They wanted the guru yesterday. They want to know how to sell like somebody who's been doing it for 10 years tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
It's like they want to skip the process because there's so much flashy stuff and there's so much all these things happening, and you're just like, I want that now. But the reality is that you have to work for that. You have to put the time in, you have to put the energy in. And so most people have a common quitting point. And they have not trained themselves to push. That's something I got from Mark Hoverson also. He used to always say that. You have to push past your common quitting point or it breeds disillusionment. He used to always say that. And it's so true when you accept that fact that, okay, I have a common quitting point and I have to be willing to develop past that. Or else I'm going to be I'm going to be delusional thinking I'm going to be free and make all this money and help all these people. And I'm not really skilled for that. But I do think that it is the best opportunity in our lifetime. If, what I've been doing a lot lately is studying the Great Depression, studying how does an economy act in a circumstance similar to this? Even though we've never seen anything like this ever in the history of existence, for an economy to just change. I was just reading today, I think it was like 6.6 million people filed for unemployment. Like it's getting really serious out here, right? And so, but that means that there's a problem.
Yes.
And anytime there's a problem, if you can put yourself in that person's shoes, you can start to look for solutions for them, and then you can definitely create a business. So yeah, I do think it's an amazing time to start a business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we're just kind of at the top of the hour here. So we always have a word of the day, Brandon, and we're going to put you on the spot to give us a word of the day. I had a couple here that you said, but.
Okay. Oh, am I supposed to give the word?
Yeah, we're putting you on the spot, man.
Like what kind of word?
Like if we're doing something on like today we're talking about perspecting, and like I really liked your perspectiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great word. So
yeah. So do I just say the word or what?
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, I was he'll be able to just snap one off the top of his head.
No,
like we do if it's a content day, we say content or whatever, and then we put it in our group with an explanation.
It's kind of a theme around what we were talking about.
Oh, okay. So just a single word around the yeah. Okay. It's just one word?
What? Yeah, or a phrase.
You can hyphenate it.
Okay. I would say faith.
Faith. Good one. Okay.
Yeah. Because without you believing in yourself and believing in something else, like you're gonna quit. Like it's just, we all know that. Anybody in business right now knows that if you don't have faith or courage, you know, a lot of people are about to meet a side of themselves that they've never met before.
You bet.
Yeah.
That's exactly
boy,
right.
We all know when you meet that person, you're like, wow, you're faced with a decision. So some people are going to say, you know what? I'm just going to wait on this economy and see what's going to happen because I don't have enough faith in myself that I can actually do this. And then other people are going to rise to the challenge.
Yeah.
And they're going to come out of this stronger and better than they ever have been. Because, you know, my philosophy is this: if you come out of this and you don't have a business, a new skill, a side hustle, some type of way to make income, you will know that it was never time that was the problem.
Yeah, you're 100% on that, because that's what I'm saying to everybody. You have the time. You can't use that as a crutch anymore.
No.
Like, why just go after this is all over? Why just go back into it the way it was? So, you know, people are listening for sure. So anyways, so thank you so much, Brandon.
Yes, thank you very much.
I wish we had actually more time.
I know.
But definitely everybody out there, Brandon has some amazing training. So contact us or contact him and get on board with it, because it will change the way that your mind thinks about, you know, being in business and whatnot. So definitely reach out to us. We can hook you up, or Brandon himself.
Yeah.
And anything else, Lindsay?
No, I think, like Robin said, we need more time with you, but maybe we'll have you on another day.
Definitely. Thank you guys so much for thinking of me.
Thanks so much for being on
over here. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay,
we'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon.
All righty, guys. Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.